Hello there and good evening and many thanks for joining us tonight. This very amazing day that we have much and more lined up for you, and we hope that your day has been great, and this is what to expect. History in making. Kenya makes history as the first ever non-francophone nation to host Africa Forward Summit head of states converge in Nairobi, with Africa-France relationship taking center stage. No way through. Traffic flow in Nairobi's central business district partially disrupted after several roads closed on day one of Africa Forward Summit. Also tonight, sleeping on the job. Gachagua criticized the Kenya Kwanza administration for failing to apprehend those responsible for the ruthless murder of Reverend Julius Ndumia. Plus, sending distressed call. Activists calls for urgent intervention to end gender-based violence in Mombasa as cases of GBV rises to 45%.
This is Kutv Primetime News with Auma Evans.
Good evening once again. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Joy Mtava, and remember you can talk to us on all of our social media platforms. We are coming to you live on YouTube at KUTV News Live. You can tweet us on X at KUTV_Kenya, at Auma Evans, the hashtag to use KUTV Primetime News. So tonight we begin with the latest. French President Emmanuel Macron, accompanied by his host President William Ruto, led the first day of Africa Forward Summit 2026 held at the University of Nairobi. On this first day, the attending head of states held discussions with youths and innovators, inaugurated the United Nations Office Expansion Project, and attended Business and Chief Executive Officers Forum, where discussions on relationships between African countries and France dominated. Hassan Lewa is on that beat tonight.
On the first day of the Africa Forward Summit 2026, hosted by Kenya in partnership with France, President William Ruto, together with French President Emmanuel Macron, officially opened the summit with an exhibition at the proposed Engineering and Science Complex at the University of Nairobi.
The video, bro. See, najua.
And the command of defense forces, Dr. William Samuel Jones. I want to take this opportunity on behalf of the university to present a period on how we can construct their image.
But after the exhibition, the presidents attending the Africa Forward Summit took part in a high-level youth engagement at the University of Nairobi, where they listened to innovative young people from different African countries and also contributed to discussions on education, technology, and innovation.
So we have to build much more energy facilities, renewables, nuclear, in order to deploy electrification of our common use in Europe, electrification for households and companies in Africa, but in order to build additional capacities and computing capacities, first challenge, and to build foundational models and companies on that. Everything, when we speak about infrastructure, is about sovereignty. And this partnership between Amini, Bull, and Foxconn, for me, is a perfect example of this sovereignty, this common sovereignty story.
Digital infrastructure, making sure that we have fiber optic across our countries, making sure that it is accessible, creating spaces where entrepreneurs, creatives, young people can undertake their assignments, their aspirations.
Thank you for the question, which I think it's probably the most consequential question Africa is facing today in the age of AI. Builders or consumers? But for me, this question is deeply personal because I am African. My parents are from the Central African Republic, but I am also French. I was born and raised in Paris. And I spent the past 15 years rising to the top.
After completing the discussions with African youth, the presidents were treated to an art exhibition.
One became many, many became form, and form became life. From the heavens, a gift descended, not as thunder, but as a breath.
On the first day of the Africa Forward Summit, President William Ruto, accompanied by the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, proceeded to Gigiri, where they officially inaugurated the United Nations Office's expansion project.
The groundbreaking ceremony for the new Assembly Hall and the inauguration of new office buildings are symbols of our collective ambition, and the reaffirmation of the central role that Africa, and Kenya in particular, play in the life and future of the United Nations.
And especially my good friend, Secretary General, and his deputy. And I am told they rarely travel out together, except on very consequential functions like this one. Your presence underscores our shared commitment to strengthening multilateralism and ensuring the UN remains effective, responsive, and fit for purpose in addressing the challenges of our time.
The first day of the Africa Forward Summit concluded with the CEO and business leaders talk, officially closed by French President Emmanuel Macron together with President Ruto. The talk focused on relations between Africa and France in the technology, agriculture, energy, health, trade and development sector. Hassan Lewa, KUTV.
Still on African Forward Summit, now traffic flow in Nairobi's central business district was today partially disrupted after several roads, including Parliament Road, were closed ahead of the official opening of the African Forward Summit 2026 at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, KICC, and at the University of Nairobi. And as Edward Nyamu details in the following report, motorists and pedestrians experienced delays as traffic officers were deployed across major intersections.
And traffic police took position on key roads. Activities in Nairobi Central Business District was not as usual. Security personnel and traffic police took position on key roads leading to Kenyatta International Conference Center, KICC, where African Forward Summit 2026 was happening. Parliament Road was among the roads closed to allow the smooth movement of delegates and VIPs attending the summit. Other sections around City Hall Way, Harambee Avenue, and access roads near KICC also experienced temporary traffic restrictions. Despite the closures, not all roads in the city centre were affected, with traffic police directing motorists to alternative routes to ease congestion and ensure normal business operations continued. Heavy police presence was visible across the CBD, with officers conducting security checks and controlling both vehicles and pedestrians' movement around the summit venue. Some commuters expressed frustrations over the delays, while others welcomed the security measures, saying they were necessary for an international event of such magnitude. The Africa Forward Summit 2026 has brought together African leaders, business executives, policymakers, and development partners to discuss economic growth, innovation, digital transformation, and investment opportunities across the continent. Edward Nyamu, KUTV.
Now, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua continued to criticize the Kenya Kwanza administration for failing to apprehend those responsible for the ruthless murder of Reverend Julius Ndumbia. Speaking at the Reverend Ndumbia's funeral in Tetu constituency in Nyeri County, Gachagua condemned the government's silence about the ongoing murder probe and accused the security sector of being careless. According to Gachagua, the church is being attacked and needs immediate protection. On the security situation in Nakuru County, Gachagua called for security purge, citing the county's recent history of insecurity and violence.
Mimi nataka niambie our parish ministers, we'll fight for the justice of your colleague. We'll shout from the rooftop until Mama Esther and her children and the church gets justice. A man is not a chicken. Mtu hapana kuku. Baona damu ya mchungaji imemwagika. Muko menawe sema chochote. Sasa ni siku 6 amenyamaza. IG amenyamaza. Why? Is the life of our reverend a lesser life? This is a great church. This is not just another ordinary Kenyan. It's a man of God. Why is government quiet?
Now, gender-based violence cases in Mombasa have risen by more than 45% since 2022, with women leaders and community activists calling for urgent government intervention. Addressing the media at the Tononoka Children's Court in Mombasa, the leaders described gender-based violence as a growing crisis that is silently tearing families apart across the coastal city.
Jamii inatakikana kuelewa mambo mengi kuhusu gender based violence. Kama vile wenzangu wameongelelea, gender based violence imekuwa very rampant. I think sahi iko over 45% since 2022. Na sana sana inafanyika kwa wale wa miaka 18 mpaka 49, lakini sahi tunaona hadi watoto wadogo wale. Kwa hivyo kuna sheria mbalimbali ambazo zina hakikisha kwamba mwanamke ama mwanamume anakuwa protected. Nikianza na katiba yetu ya Kenya under article 27, 28 and 29.
Now with that story, we are taking a very short break here on KUTV Primetime News. Remember, we still have much and more lined up for you after the break.
Msana lugha. Lugha ni zaidi ya maneno. Ndio maana sisi Waswahili kila siku tunaitumia kazini, mitaani, kwenye mapenzi na katika jamii. Jiunge nami Padironga kila Jumapili katika Mawimbi ya Lugha, tukichambua Kiswahili, maana yake, mabadiliko yake na nafasi yake katika maisha yetu. Kutoka utambulisho, mapenzi hadi mustakabali wa lugha yetu. Mawimbi ya Lugha kila Jumapili, usikose saa 2.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Auma Evans.
Alright, welcome back and thank you for keeping it KUTV Primetime News. Let's continue to inform you, shall we? Now, residents of Kwapunda in Jomvu sub-county in Mombasa County have raised concerns of a poor state of county feeder roads in the area. The impassable roads have disrupted essential services and exposed them to dangers in the event of an emergency. Listen in.
Led by community health promoter Veronica Karisa, residents of Kwapunda in Jomvu sub-county, Mombasa County, have stated that emergency cases have become difficult to handle because vehicles cannot access the area. According to Karisa, in the event of a medical emergency, especially when a patient is or a mother is in labor, they are forced to carry them on a stretcher because the roads are badly dilapidated and no vehicle can pass through.
Kukiwa kuna mgonjwa au kama kuna mama anataka kujifungua, inabidi tumbebe na mkeka sababu wheelbarrow haipandi na kuna gari inaweza shuka au ikapanda au pikipiki. Kwa hivyo tuna changamoto nyingi hapa kwa kupitia kwa wagonjwa, kwa mama kujifungua, mtu ni labda ameumia, tuna changamoto nyingi.
Martha Modhoni, a resident, highlighted that the poor road network has also compromised security, noting that police officers on both day and night patrols are unable to access the area with their vehicles because of the poor condition of the roads.
Kuwatengenezea mahali tu kwanza wanaweza kupita. Haya ni mambo ambayo nikiwa county na Governor Hassan Joho tulinunua malori ya kutosha, tulinunua maeskaveta, tulinunua magreda ya kwamba maram ni yetu, iende ichukuliwe tu waje watengenezee.
Mheshimiwa zae tushike mkono, tutengenezee barabara, tutengenezee shule. Hapa hakuna shule yoyote yenye tuko nayo, hakuna stima pale. Wamama wanateseka pia na hii mambo na barabara.
Boda rider Joseph Katana called on leaders to prioritize development in the area, citing poor roads, lack of schools, and inadequate electricity connectivity. Political affairs advisor in the office of the president, Karisa Nzai, urged Mombasa Governor Abdul Swamad Sharif Nasir to accelerate development for all residents of the county and not to be misled by some of his officials.
Tupate security, manake security ile ya serikali iko Mikindani, wakija waangalia hizi nyumba za barabarani kule chini kwenye kuna maporomoko hawafiki.
The residents are now accusing the county administration of neglecting the area, saying the lack of infrastructure has denied them access to essential services, particularly healthcare and education. Caroline Kimwele, KUTV.
Now, the construction of a new bridge at River Kiringa has brought some sigh of relief to coffee and dairy farmers in Kabare Ward in Gishugi, Kirinyaga County, who have long struggled with poor transport, high delivery costs, and dangerous crossings caused by the damaged old bridge, especially during heavy rains, as Ochieng Cynthia tells us in the following report.
The ongoing construction of a new bridge at River Kiringa is expected to solve transport challenges facing farmers in Kabare Ward, improving movement, reducing delivery cost, and enhancing access to market and essential services. The residents have for many years depended on a temporary makeshift bridge that cannot support vehicles, forcing them to use longer and unsafe routes.
Kwa sababu ya kahawa tumeona redio imetengenezwa na bereni tulikuwa na shida sana. Tukileta kahawa ni shida matope na gari bila isipita hapo. Hata tukutukutu bila isipita.
According to Jackson Muridhi, her farmer transport challenges during rainy seasons forced farmers to pay up to 150 shillings per bag of coffee due to difficulties accessing the factory, noting that the bridge will reduce transport cost and ensure timely delivery of the produce.
Au watu wa kahawa, kwa sababu naye kahawa ikikosekana kupelekwa kwa factory, watu watapata shinda sana, kwa sababu hiyo ndio main ya wakulima wa hapa. Haya mambo ya kahawa ya maziwa pia ni main na ndio nini business yao, ile wanatafuta pesa naye. So gari za nini ya kilimo inazunguka njia mrefu sana, watu mpaka wakakosa pesa ya nini ya maziwa kwa sababu ya transport.
To Daniel Ndege, the bridge will soon improve access to healthcare services, markets and nearby towns including Kutv and Kerugoya.
Apitie kwa hiyo daraja.
The project is part of the ongoing efforts to improve infrastructure in Kabari Ward and is expected to provide safer transport for residents while also improving connectivity between Gishugu and Kirinyaga Central constituencies. Watching Cynthia, KUTV.
Right, now French President Emmanuel Macron, together with his host William Ruto and other residents from across Africa, today awarded athletes and sports personalities who participated in the Africa Forward Summit 2026 Games at the University of Nairobi. The president also played football together as part of the activities on the first day of the international summit. All right, now let's take a very short break. We'll be back with more.
Fashion. It's more than just clothes. It's a statement. A feeling. An art form, a way to express yourself, a reflection of who you are. It's Fashion Diaries. Join me, Ashley Asachi, every Monday from 8 p.m. as we bring you Kenya's latest trends. Imagine fashion designers, glamorous fashion events, runway shows, red carpet events, and so much more. Fashion Diaries, unleashing your inner fashionista.
Today, as the world marks the World Nurses Week, we are joined by none other than the CEO of the Kenyatta University Teaching, Research and Referral Hospital, Dr. Zainab Gura.
For KTRH, we've tried to keep the ratio that is actually optimal. We probably have one of the best ratios of patients to nurses in this country.
The role of the nurse in providing your care is very, very diverse.
I'll bring it to your attention that the first person that touches a patient at birth is a nurse.
Nursing care is core of patient care, really. And as a hospital, we have various indicators that helps us to measure and monitor our nursing practices.
Right now, it's time for the latest in the world of sports. Now, French President Emmanuel Macron, together with his host William Ruto and other presidents from across Africa, today awarded athletes and sports personalities who participated in Africa Forward Summit 2026 Games at the University of Nairobi. The president also played football together as part of the activities on the first day of this international summit.
Kenya taking the football, passing to France, France passing to Senegal, Senegal wondering where the ball is going. That's a good touch by President William Ruto. A good touch there, of course, moving left, touch. We wonder why our national team doesn't have strikers yet. We have good players. Well done, Your Excellencies.
Those on the track, please clear as the cross country are coming back.
Asante sana.
Well, it's very fortunate to have them, and sometimes we have exported our coaches to the African continent, and Claude is here. He knows that, and the president ordered him earlier on. So my message is that it's very important what we are doing here. It's a question of education first. Everywhere we help developing sports apart from major events and competitions, and that's why the Youth Olympics in Senegal are so important. We give young people the ability to become emancipated and to be empowered. It's a strategy that we decided to implement in France, but we want the same for the African continent, because we teach young people rules, sports discipline. We teach them to be in a team. We give them trust, confidence, self-confidence. We help them explore their talents. A young person who is great at running is not necessarily very good at...
Now, in the English Premier League match played yesterday night, now the Gunners' Arsenal edged past West Ham United 1-0 to revive their title hopes. The victory, which has placed them 5 points clear of Manchester City, gives the young Arsenal side a chance to breathe easy with only 2 matches remaining before the end of 2025-2026 season. Right, now it's a wrap. Many thanks for the men and women behind the scene, and for all those who made this production a success, and for your esteemed viewers for always keeping us a company in the last 30 minutes also. My good name is Auma Evans. Joy Mtava has been our sign language interpreter tonight. Until next time, do have a lovely night and God bless.